Is it better to homeschool a child with ADHD? What do you think? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education. In particular, homeschool, because I did homeschool all of my biological children. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about ADHD and what some of the struggles are when we go to public school, and then we're going to talk about homeschool and how homeschool could benefit ADHD. If I were to answer the question, is it better to homeschool a child with ADHD, the shortest way possible, I would say yes, probably so. Obviously, each person's circumstance and their family is going to bring in a few variables. But by and large, when a person has ADHD, if they are able to have an educational experience or culture that is more adapted to that ADHD, then usually they succeed a little bit better. However, there are a lot of children with ADHD that do still attend school outside of the home. So why is it that people often homeschool children with ADHD? Well, everybody's ADHD is a little bit different, but by and large, we have situations with ADHD where people have a hard time focusing, or sometimes they want to hyper-focus on something and go really deep into something and not pay attention to anything else around them. Well, if that's your learning style, to either hyper-focus or to get distracted and jump from thing to thing, then being able to be in more control of your educational environment can be very beneficial, especially until all the proper social skills are developed and until the person's prefrontal cortex is a little bit more advanced. You do need to make sure that you still give your ADHD child an opportunity, even if you're homeschooling, to practice patience and self-discipline. But if that's what you want, you're in the right place, because this channel is all about teaching self-government. And everything that I teach here was actually first developed for ADHD youth. So I raised my 4 children and homeschooled them all, but I also took in troubled teens. They were all between the ages of 12 and 18, and I got the opportunity to help so many youth who had ADHD. And they process things a little bit differently. In fact, that's who I developed everything for, was them. And then I started training my own children with the same skills and principles because I realized they were just adult skills for success. So what could homeschool bring to your child with ADHD? If you have a child with ADHD, you can set up an educational flow to your day that might match their attention span a little bit more. So maybe in the morning, they're a little bit more apt to be active. So maybe you would do a lot of exercise things in the morning, and when we got a little bit more tired, then we'd go to our reading time. Instead of trying to chain a person down for reading time at a time when their body seems to be bouncing off the walls a little bit. Again, we still need to learn how to accept no answers, follow instructions, those types of things, but we can also just pay attention to the normal rhythm of a person's body. Another thing is, sometimes your ADHD child gets really interested in something. Maybe it's like swordmanship, or maybe it's surfing or something like that. Well, you can take time then to go as deep as you want to into that topic. Your child can have some independent learning time every single day where they study topics of their choice. That's fantastic. What do you do about the distraction though? What if their type of ADHD is, I get distracted so easily, I never get anything done? Well, when you do homeschool, you can schedule time, not content. So you can say, instead of getting to the end of the math lesson, we're just going to spend 20 minutes on math, or maybe 30 minutes on math. And when that time period's done, we're done. This decreases the anxiety for your ADHD child. What about the mood swings? Sometimes people with ADHD talk back a lot, they're more aggressive, and they can come across as more disrespectful. And this is because their anxiety levels are a little bit higher. So what do you do about that? Well, guess what? In the teaching self-government type of parenting, there's a skill called disagreeing appropriately. But also, you can let them know that there are things that they get to decide about their day, but then there are other things that they just have to follow the instructions with. These 4 children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. If you've already subscribed to this channel, then you probably already know the power of these 4 basic skills. If not, be sure to go and look at other videos where we teach these 4 basic skills for success. Every person, especially people with ADHD, can benefit from using these 4 basic skills. If you homeschool your children, you can help work on their social as well as their behavioral alongside their academic. At the school, they don't have an opportunity to do that. And if I'm going to be just completely honest, homeschooling was one of the best things I ever did for myself and my family. We got to have a lot of time together to learn the things we wanted to learn, to go as deep as we wanted to or as surface as we wanted to. And it's something that I'm always glad that we decided to do as a family. Homeschooling is something that actually feels very liberating to a person who has a hard time engaging the same way with everybody else around them. And it's a great way to help a person develop the social skills that they need. Because there's only 3 ways to learn social. Either they learn social from same-age peers who have no more experience than they do, the media who, can you really trust them for social education? Or their families, their parents who've been there, done that, and understand them. Obviously, the family is the best way to learn their social skills, and it gives them a good opportunity to practice discussing, communicating, and solving problems as a group. When you solve problems in an atmosphere where things feel safe, comfortable, and predictable, then you can learn more easily how to solve problems outside of that atmosphere once you get the problem-solving strategies down. So in teaching self-government, I highly recommend teaching your children the skill for how to solve problems, which I call SOTAs. SOTAs is an acronym that stands for Situation, Options, Disadvantages, Advantages, and Solution. If you teach your ADHD child about SOTAs exercises, they'll better be able to prepare for how they want their interactions to go with other people and what outcomes they want out of their behaviors as well. But all of this stuff takes a little bit of time, so why not give yourself the time you need to learn the lessons that are really going to be the most valuable for your child. If your child is having a hard time focusing, or they want to hyper-focus on one thing and not pay attention to anything else, is it really beneficial to be at the school all day to try to go through the assembly line process? Some brains just aren't assembly line, and that's okay, because homeschool is an option that everybody has. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'm quite sure you will love some of my other videos about homeschooling and about ADHD here on this channel. So search ADHD or homeschool and you'll find more than you bargained for.